Okay, you need to watch the video in its entirety because I'm going to lay out a message to Netmarble in this video. I declined the contract they offered me so that I could keep coming out with really a 100% truthful, opinionated, true to the viewers type of content. And so what I'm doing today in this video is breaking down to Netmarble and you, the populace, what it is that is going to kill Marvel Future Revolution if it's not fixed. Okay, there is some major issues, some quality of life changes that if you implement into the game that I'm going to break down in this video will automatically revitalize the game, bring back players, and increase the longevity of the game. Watch it all and then leave a comment on if you think these changes would help the game. Like the video if you want to help get this across to Netmarble, because more likes means higher chance of them seeing it, and let's get going. Okay, let's talk. First and foremost, 50,000 gold is non-event. This needs to be 500,000 gold. It doesn't matter if it's 50,000 gold every single time we log in for the rest of the day. This does not make sense. 50,000 gold literally does not even level one of my levels. Please make it an actual event going into the future. Be said of these blitzes, 30,000 for the first blitz of the day literally doesn't matter at all. If it was 30,000 every single blitz, maybe it would be something because it would be 90,000 gold per blitz and I could spam and do all of them and then I would get an amount of gold that maybe I cared about. Okay, 30,000 gold should be every single one. I don't understand, again, why 30,000 in one day matters. I can understand you're telling yourself 50,000 log in a day plus 30,000. If they do, that's 80,000 a day, 10 days, 800,000. We're getting 2.4 million gold in a month. You think it's a lot? It's not. We need millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of gold. And that doesn't include if we're donating 100,000 gold a day to our alliance like we should be. So these numbers are just bad. The event gold reward does not even give us enough gold to donate a day. SIF training event is pretty cool. You can get all of these done. Not too bad. Thing is about it, it's random. It's not a selector. I think in the future, probably a 4-star selector isn't the end of the world. Free-to-play people aren't really going to be completing sets with it unless they got pretty lucky and got 2 pieces that's not a helmet already. And then even if they did, they're going to have to select a piece to complete whatever set they already had. And I don't think you're going to get money out of people that are hardcore free-to-play anyway. And giving one person a 4-star selector isn't going to change someone from a free-to-play to a well, and isn't going to change a well to a free-to-play. I think that giving a selector for these type of events would be good. Plus, maybe it would drag back some other players. You are currently losing players. I can tell you this for a fact. People are getting bored and leaving the game, and part of that is because they're getting frustrated at trying to get the good pieces of gear like the Regional. I really don't think one 4-star selector is going to hurt your audience retention. In fact, I would argue it probably improves audience retention because people have something to work towards. And on top of it, the people who are getting helmets, this is something else. These boxes, if it's an event or something, I understand getting helmets can still be important, but it is extremely frustrating when you get a helmet out of one of these boxes early. There should be like a toggle or something that says allow helmets or disallow helmets. That would go a long way for a buff for these boxes, though I can understand why we're probably not going to have that, but really, this needs to be a selector. It would also be really nice if things like badges or, more importantly, Omega cards, okay? If it showed you what actual boss it drops from. One of the questions I get all the time is, hey, I'm working on, Midgardia set number 6 or set number 4. Where can I get the Loki card? Where can I get the Thor card? It will show you Midgardia Cursed Force, but it just says go. But it should say what boss it drops from. Like, I shouldn't have to look at this and figure out which boss it comes from. It would make sense that it actually shows you what minions themselves, and then you could go on here, you could hit this button, you could click go, and instead of just moving there, it would take you to the most wanteds that it drops from. Be like, it drops from these guys and the most ones, and you could select the most wanted and go there. It'd be a much better user interface experience, and it would make the game make more sense, and would help people who are trying to farm understand what the do, because currently it's very confusing. Talk about this like every video, so I'm just going to mention it real quick. Core system's complete trash, has to be reworked. This is the worst system in the game. I don't know what you guys were smoking when you made this. The actual auto-equip system is like really bad. If I click auto-equip, it's going to raise my power and lower my stats. That doesn't make any sense to me. The power system puts a massive weight disparity to flat attack, flat defense, and even some flat HP. It doesn't calculate things like critical damage properly. It definitely doesn't calculate dodge stat properly. It is overall a very bad system, especially for newer players who are trying to play the game. It's going to make you equip bad badges. It's going to make you equip bad gear. I'm not a fan of the auto-equip system. I think you either need to retune it or at least have the auto-equip system put more importance of the power rating to things like critical instead of attack. I understand that everyone uses attack and you can't really start putting more weight to dodge for Spider-Man and stuff like that, but the weight to the critical damage and critical rate system doesn't make any sense. It's weighted very lowly, so people with like 1 million power can be stronger than people with 1.3 million. And you can see this because everyone's using stuff like critical damage cards. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Fine with the specialization system on the standard ones, but when you get to the higher rates here, it becomes a joke. 30% success rate for specialization when you need this many materials is pretty unacceptable. I mean, at the worst, it should be a coin flip. I would maybe accept 50%, but I mean, it gets to 30%, then 20, then 10%. It's like, come on, dude. It's like a 6-star core. You're basically at that point saying it's not something that we expect everyone to max out, only people who continue playing the game for 6 months, etc. And when you do that to a person, you basically are artificially increasing the length of the game, and that will very quickly make people get bored. So when somebody hits level 5 of their specialties and they can see level 10 is going to take them 10 times as long as it took them to get level 5, etc., they're going to get bored instantly, and they're going to feel the weight of that grind instantly. That's what's happening in this game. People get to level 100 and they feel the weight of their grind and what's ahead of them, which is just the repetitiveness, and they see the diminishing returns you guys have implemented in this game, which I understand is for monetization reasons and to get the economy balance right. But what I'm saying is you've got the economy balance a little bit on the wrong tilt. So what's going to end up happening is people are getting burned a lot quicker than you're expecting, and you're burning through your launch quicker than you expected, which if you're looking for longevity of the game, which obviously with new releases and stuff, I believe you are, and I think you probably released the patch a little bit sooner than you guys were originally anticipating in order to keep up kind of the hype of the launch, would be my guess based upon how I'm seeing audience retention numbers on my side. And I do believe part of this is due to the way you have the specialization, Omega card, exclusive stats, etc. I can understand some of them, but this 20 where it drops down lower in the specialization grind, this right here is massively discouraging in the same way cores are. And that huge discouragement isn't where you're getting money out of people, it's where you're losing players. All right, last but not least, the workshop system. In my personal opinion, you're charging too much on the workshop system. I think you're fine with the amount of regionals you charge. I'm okay with the amount of particles and all that. Where I believe you're charging too much is actually on the gold. If we go and we do this, it's 7,500 for 1, it's 75,000 for 10, and the rushing it is very, very, very expensive. You were originally getting whales to rush boxes because they're impatient. Now whales don't rush boxes at all because the gold is atrocious. So you're losing a little bit of rake there. On top of it, I'm okay with the particles, the regional, all this, okay, but the drop rates on these are like a complete and utter joke. I don't know what the drop rates are on these because it doesn't really show you here, but I've opened 400 of these and I've got one regional piece of gear. I do actually have, as you see here, 577 particles. I'm going to do a 100 opening where I open 100 of these all at once because I want to see exactly how bad the drop rate is. And I bet you when I do that, I'm going to get 0 of them. So subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified of that video. One last thing, which is you need to revert the Omega War change. The Omega War change where we're allowed to use our enhancers is stupid and frustrating for everybody involved. Now, every single player at the high level, if you want to get in and have an equal footing, you got to use these enhancers. I know that's what you're intending, but it doesn't help us. I know we have more enhancers than we can use, and that's why you're trying to do it, but it doesn't do anything. All it does is raise the power level of everyone equally when they use the enhancers. It just liquidates the enhancers. None of us care about doing this. It's a zero-sum game. If everyone agreed not to use it, then we'd all be exactly equal. It's a waste and it benefits the welds more because it's percentage based, so people that have higher stats are going to get even stronger. Not a fan of the Omega War change. It made things worse, not better. So in my personal opinion, these are the issues that are actively killing your game. If you fix these issues, you're going to see players come back, and you're going to see players get frustrated less, which means players are going to quit less, and it's going to increase the longevity of your game. That's how I see it. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Like the video if you do agree, because I'm kind of curious on how many people agree versus disagree. I don't think anyone out there is going to disagree with this point, because honestly, it's kind of saying like all the worst parts about Marvel right now. I'm a huge fan of the game still. I still love the game. I still play the game every day. I still stream the game every day. I'm loving it, but there's definitely some issues that's causing us to lose some players, and it was the ones mentioned. So I'll see y'all in the next video.